I used to think that every couple had their rough patches. That eventually, if you were just patient enough, compassionate enough, you'd weather the storm. For a long time, I believed that's what was happening with me and Cara. We met in college, married 6 years later, and life unfolded more or less how we dreamed. She worked in HR for a small medical firm. I was a junior architect finally building a reputation. The rhythm of life was comfortable. Weekend brunches, evening walks, her habit of falling asleep on the couch during Netflix binges. Normal. Safe. It was after the mugging incident that things began to shift. She'd been walking to her car after a late grocery run when two teenagers tried to snatch her purse. They didn't get it, and she wasn't seriously hurt, but the fright lingered. Cara couldn't sleep, flinched at sudden noises, and seemed to curl in on herself. Therapy didn't help. Neither did my attempts at comfort. That's when she found a self-defense class through a friend. "It's just once a week," she told me, holding up a flyer. "The instructor's ex-military. It'll help me feel less helpless." I nodded, because what else was I supposed to do? His name was Mason, tall, buzzed hair, lean with a sharp smile. I met him once briefly. Cara introduced us when I picked her up from class early. He had this way of shaking my hand while not quite looking at me, like he was focused on something just behind me. The next few weeks, she started talking about him more than I was comfortable with. "Mason says most people don't realize how capable they are until they're pushed," she said once, eyes shining. "He gets it. He really listens." At first, I told myself it was admiration. Trauma survivors often bond with those who help them. But then came the missed calls, the lingering glances at her phone, the way she started dressing up more for class. One Friday evening, she came home late. I was waiting, trying not to overthink it, flipping through the channels mindlessly. She breezed in, flushed and breathless, claiming class had run long. I didn't say anything, not then. But something told me I needed to start watching closer. It wasn't until I found the email that the truth hit me like a punch to the chest. I was borrowing her laptop to print a permit application, and her email was still open. An innocuous subject line. "Last night, Redheart," caught my eye. Curiosity is a poison in moments like these. The message was brief. Too brief. "Still thinking about you. Can't wait for next Thursday. Let's try the shower next time." Everything inside me stopped. I read it 3 more times, hoping I was misreading, hoping this was some misunderstanding, maybe a prank or some inside joke I didn't get. But I knew. I knew. I closed the laptop and sat there for an hour, staring at nothing. Rage. Numbness. Humiliation. It all swirled together until I couldn't tell one from the other. She came home at night to silence. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I needed proof. Needed clarity. So I became what I never thought I would, a man who spies. I checked her phone while she was in the shower. The messages were there, clear as day. Not just one. Dozens. Pictures. Plans. Confessions of love and connection. Things she never said to me anymore. She was cheating. With the man who was supposed to help her feel safe. My hand shook as I put her phone back. I felt like I was in a movie, only not the kind you want to be in. I didn't sleep that night. I barely blinked. I needed a plan. I didn't have to wait long. The next Thursday, Cara told me she had class. She smiled, kissed my cheek, and breezed out the door like she hadn't burned our life down behind her. I sat at the kitchen table long after the door closed, my hands wrapped tightly around a cup of coffee that had gone cold hours ago. I didn't need a private investigator. I had time, instinct, and an address I found on one of her text threads. Mason taught some sessions privately at his home studio. She had mentioned it to him. I like being there better. It's more personal. That was enough. I drove slowly, not because I was unsure of what I'd do, but because I wanted the full weight of it to settle in my bones. I needed to feel it all, because once I stepped into this, nothing would be the same. His house was modest, but tidy. Lights on. A silver SUV in the driveway. Hers. I parked down the street and walked up, my heart beating a rhythm of betrayal against my ribs. I didn't knock. The blinds weren't drawn. I didn't need to get close to see them. In the living room, standing close, too close, Cara, laughing, tossing her hair like she hadn't in years. He leaned in, whispering something. She touched his arm, then his chest. I should have turned around. Should have walked away. But the man who once believed in loyalty, in trust and vows and patience, that man had been gutted weeks ago. I rang the doorbell. It took a few seconds. I heard hurried whispers. Then Mason opened the door, shirt half buttoned, eyebrows lifting like I was an unexpected delivery. "Can I help you?" he asked, his voice smooth and casual. Cara appeared behind him. Her face fell like a tower of cards caught in wind. "Eli," she breathed. "What are you?" "You left your wedding ring," I said, holding it up between my fingers. I had slipped it off her nightstand that morning. "Figured you'd want it before your next session." "Eli, please," she started, stepping forward, but Mason put an arm across her chest, protective or territorial, I couldn't tell. "No, let him speak," Mason said, like this was his house, and I was some guest making things uncomfortable. "You want to know the worst part?" I asked, my voice steady, controlled. "It's not the cheating. It's the fact that I stayed. That I trusted you to be healing while you were actually rehearsing." Cara looked down. "I waited, Cara. Waited while you found yourself. I took the emotional hits, the distance, the excuses, thinking it was trauma. Thinking we'd come through stronger." I stepped closer. "But you weren't healing. You were escaping." "And him?" I flicked my chin at Mason. "He's not your savior. He's just the first man who told you what you wanted to hear while I was too busy building a life for us to play guru." Mason smirked. "You done?" "Not quite," I said. Then I took out the manila envelope from my coat pocket. "Divorce papers. Already filed. You'll be served officially next week, but I figured I'd give you the courtesy of a preview." I held it out. She didn't take it. Just stared at it like it was a snake. "I'm not fighting for someone who already left," I said quietly. "I deserve more than being plan B to some glorified punching bag." I walked away without waiting for a response. The next few weeks were quiet, almost peaceful. The house, though empty, felt lighter. I didn't return her calls. Didn't respond to her. I made a mistake. Emails. I had made my peace. It hurt, yes. It still does. But sometimes, walking away is the loudest act of love, for yourself. They say healing isn't linear. I say it starts the moment you stop making excuses for someone else's betrayal. Let her find herself in someone else's reflection. I've got my own mirror now. And I like the man I see in it more every day.